Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another episode of the All Aces podcast. I'm your host, Anthony, joined by my other host, Danny and Nate. Say what's up. We also got the media crew behind the cameras as well. We got Mondo, we got Mark, and of course we got Ofred. And today, man, we're bringing you an ace of their own industry. We always bring the aces here. This guy has been an ace of actually the retail fashion industry. And tell him a little more about him, Dan.
All right, guys, without further ado, have us welcome our newest guest, Robert Michel, a.k.a. Taps.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys? So, I'm the owner of Blush right here in Ridley. If you guys are familiar right here with the Valley. I bought this business in, it's been 5 years already, 2017. That's when I got it. I was 22. It's been growing. It's pretty fun ride,
Yeah.
I'm always, my family has been in business since I was pretty much born. So I'm kind of in the business side of it.
Oh, dude, first question, you come from a business background. Your parents were in family, or your dad, he was in business. Your family was in business. How did that affect you, bro? Growing up, like, was that something like because you saw your dad always in business did you always know you were gonna go into business, or like when did that idea kind of materialize with you?
So growing up, my family is very business orientated. So I've always been in business. I've worked since I was small. My dad is a big hustler. He's a serial entrepreneur. He has multiple businesses in different industries. He's had restaurants, department stores, meat markets. He's into farming. He used to sell cars. He's done it all.
All I've heard, bro, is the Mitchell's own Reedley. That's what I've heard. That's the rumor around town. That's what I've heard. The Mitchell's own Reedley.
We're a big family, so it's kind of, we have multiple businesses in town. So maybe, I don't know really know.
It's common though. It's just, I think a lot of that comes from like just the success you guys have had as family business owners, right? Because I know a lot of people, especially families, right? There might be one person, maybe two people that begin to start a business in their family. But you guys, man, it's so cool to see like all the stories I've heard. Like you have a business. We're actually in the business right now. It's Blush, right?
Yeah.
Blush Boutique here in Reedley.
In the back, yeah, you guys can see
yeah. So this is a nice store, man. You have. If I was a chick, this is probably the first place I shop. Yeah. And even though I have a chick at home, I know this is the place I'm going to be shopping for Valentine's Day upcoming pretty soon, man. But yeah, man, like I said, that's the main thing I've heard. It's tell us a little bit about how it's been, man, being like just having your whole family and business together, and you guys all just. I mean, it surrounds you, right?
So everybody puts their ideas into their business, and it's kind of like, our Thanksgiving dinners are about business, or
that's cool.
They're gonna open up this store, or it's pretty much focused in business, and it's kind of natural for me, like growing up, to talk about business and know about business.
Tell us about Blush, man. How did you get started in Blush, and how many years ago did you start that?
Okay, so I'm not the founder. I'm the owner, but I'm not the founder. The founder. He founded this business in 2005. I purchased a business in 2017. I was 22 at the time, and how I actually bought it is I was going out with a girl, and she was an employee here, and the owner was selling. Not for he was just selling because he was moving back to Korea, because he had got a divorce, and he was a big gambler. He just didn't want to be here, and he actually wanted yeah. It's crazy. It's a crazy story, and I feel really bad for him because he kind of lost everything because of the divorce,
Yeah. So what year was that? So what year did they first start, and then what year did you first hear the rumors of like they were going to start selling?
So I started in 2017. So pretty much. The girl I was going out with, she told me maybe like 3 months before that, and I would come in here and talk to the owner, and we were trying to figure out the price, and we agreed on the price, and he just handed me the keys, and he's all, "It's yours." He was a very good guy. He handed me the keys, "It's yours," and since that day, he pretty much he even had money. Like change, like he had like $300 worth of coins. He's all, "It's yours. You keep it." He just gave it as is, like everything.
That's crazy.
So it was an
keys
easy,
over.
yeah, like
That's
it's
it, yeah.
So it's pretty much like I got super lucky, because of that opportunity. Because not a lot of people can and it's crazy because when I got the business, like I didn't even have the money. Like I didn't have the full amount of money like he was asking for. I don't want to say the amount, but I was like, you know what? Like all my life, my main goal was to open up a business since I was small, and like I didn't think that I would like transition into a girl's. My thing was something else.
There
But
you go.
I mean, I took the opportunity, and and it's been good ever since. Yeah.
So real quick, dude, I want to go back up a little bit because you're 22 and you're talking about buying a business, and I feel like to a lot of people after 22, they're finishing up with school or something like that, or in the middle of school. But how did you come up with that? Were you saving? Did you already have money? How did you come up with the money to buy a business? Because obviously, whatever the sum was, it had to be pretty significant because you're buying a business. So how did you come up with that?
Okay, so I want to tell you guys a quote that from a show that I watched, Shark Tank. You guys probably see it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Great
so
show. Great show.
the opportunity was there. I took it. And Mark Cuban says like, what was the quote? It's something like, take the deal and figure it out later. So I took the deal. He gave me the price, and I was like, he asked me, "Do you have the money?" And of course, I didn't have the money, but I was like, I have. He gave me 1 month to
Figure it out,
to figure
yeah.
it out. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, I do have the money. He's all, I'll give it to you in a month. So I have it, bro.
That's
I have
really
it,
great
but
analysis, bro.
So I'm a very confident guy, and I was like, you know what? I can get the money.
That's
so
I got a month.
I got a
Countdown-
month,
countdown
and I'm
starts
gonna
and-
do it. So at that time, Bitcoin was at $1,800 to $2,000, and I had two of them. And I was making a good amount of money, and I sold everything that I had. I sold all my Bitcoin, and I had other currencies too, and I sold pretty much everything I had. I had I think around maybe $15,000 worth of gold, and then I asked my friends, hey, I'm gonna open up a business, and if you let me borrow 5,000, I'll give you 6,000. I made deals just to try to get all the money. I did have some money saved up, but it was just obviously it's not
extra
enough.
help.
It just to and then I needed stuff to buy more inventory. Just reinvest in the business. So yeah, in a month I got all the money and paid the guy, and I haven't seen him ever since.
That's nuts, dude. So that was a lot of I think golden bits for the audience. So number one, I think the biggest thing is like you said, the Mark Cuban thing. Get the deal, commit later. That's something that we do all the time. So you fucking say yes, and then you figure that shit out.
It's usually scary. Like,
On the go, yeah.
yeah, commit first, figure the rest out later.
Yeah.
Right?
So that was number one thing. Number two, the Bitcoin thing. I think the Bitcoin play pulled it off right because you said you bought it at what, 12, 14, 18?
Yeah. So
And-
no, I sold it. I sold it at 14,000. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Wait,
you bought
was
it
at
at
14,000 a coin?
No. I bought it. I bought the coin when it was at 2,000.
Okay.
And I sold it when it was at
You bought
14,000.
Bitcoin at 2,000?
Yeah, bro.
Because
this was what
oh
year?
my
2017?
This
Because
was
Bitcoin didn't start popping
so I
till
bought
that
it
2020,
I think
21.
I think I bought it in 2016 and I sold it 2017. So I got all my friends into it. A lot of my friends made a decent amount of money. And it's pretty. That right there helped me. A lot.
Shout out
Do you
Bitcoin.
have,
Kind
do you
of
still
shout
have
out
any
crypto.
crypto?
I actually don't have any.
None in the portfolio.
I invested. I started reinvesting in 2000 and right after COVID when it started going up again, and I sold it, and then I just kind of didn't. I just didn't want to. Yeah, there was too much.
Getting all volatile a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so it just kind of I took it out of my portfolio, so it's not a.
That's dude. I mean, that Bitcoin play that worked out. I'm sure there's a lot of people in that same position where they flipped the Bitcoin. I mean, you made what, 10, 12K on every coin. Which
Yeah.
is not, it's
Yeah,
not over a
so-
year. That's not a bad. It's not a
The
bad
craziest
return.
part, bro, is that's the perfect example. Like sometimes people hold on to things too long, right? And it's a perfect example of like flipping an investment you had to another investment, bro. Some people I feel like it's super easy to flip an investment into maybe a liability, into like a car or buy a nice watch or something, bro. But talk about a little bit about how that decision, to flip your investment like that into another investment that's going to generate you more cash flow like it is right now.
So, I mean, it's kind of a entrepreneurial thing, like it's kind of like it's always, you're always constantly investing in other, you kind of want to like just keep growing, and that's when you start investing in other ideas or just always hustling. It's kind of like a hustler thing, it's always hustling, always looking for the next big thing. If you can make a couple even a couple $100, it doesn't have to be a big amount. Why not? Why not? Like, sometimes you get a good deal on a car that's worth, $5,000. The guy's not doing too good. He needs money, $5,000, and you sell it for $10. You just made $5,000. And it's not like huge investments, but those, it's what kind of like straps you for bigger things.
It's that mindset behind it.
It's a mindset. Always hustling, always looking for deals.
Staying hungry, constantly
stacking
making
your
moves.
wins.
Exactly, compounds over time.
Yeah, there we go.
That's money, bro. And so obviously, like, you're doing really well, bro. Like, your stories, it looks badass, bro. Like, to put it frank. So tell us a bit about as well, like, this is not the most common male industry, right? Like, usually the fashion industry, the boutique industry is really dominated by mainly women, like females, right? So tell us a little bit about how you become so successful and how you stay successful being a male in a mainly female-dominated industry.
Well, when I first got the business, I didn't really know too much about the fashion side of things. I knew about the business side of it. It's just kind of like over time you learn, like, okay, like this outfit is in right now. I have to look at influencers all the time. Like, okay, like Kylie Jenner just wear this dress for this Met Gala or whatever, and you kind of have to know, okay, this style is gonna be trending for like the next 3 months. So that's when you like you kind of have to be on it, and you have to know your customers too.
That's money, bro.
As the years went by, I started following all these pages, all these influencers, all this fashion, and it's just kind of like natural to me, like, okay, I know this dress is gonna sell, I'm gonna order it, I'm gonna order big, or sometimes I know certain products will sell more than others, and it's just kind of like it just kind of natural. It just kind of flows,
You feel like over time you kind of figured out like what's gonna pop off a little bit.
Yeah. So it's kind of and sometimes it's okay to take those risks. Like, oh, you know what? This dress might be a little edgy, but you know what? I want my brand to know that I sell edgy stuff for certain. Kind of
a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
that diversity.
Kind of keep them like like, oh damn, this is crazy. This is something new.
So do you have anybody else? Like, do you outsource when it comes to like trending stuff like that, or do you do it on your own? Like, do you have someone that like you go to, like, hey, what kind of dresses are going to be up next? What kind of like shoes can I get?
I'm at the very small, like the small like level of the industry. So I'm kind of like a one-man team. I have good employees, whatever. But and when it comes to picking the designs and stuff like that, I pretty much pick pretty 100% of the stuff, and I kind of know already, okay, like, you know what, this is in, this color's in, like, because in the fashion industry, it's about colors,
seasons, right?
Seasons.
Like certain seasons have certain colors.
Yeah, like designs. Sometimes, like back in the days, like, the stripe was in, or the polka dots. It's just you have to know like what type of print is in. That's very. You have to know your stuff
and staying like ahead of the curve, basically, too.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a lot of it is based off like geographically, like girls in this area like certain things versus like girls in LA would like something different, or do you think that comes into play? So I feel like the main like it starts off in the bigger cities, and then in LA that's very edgy. They wear a lot of edgy stuff. So right here in the valley, it's more conservative, more a little bit, they're not showing that much, a little bit exactly.
More every region has its own style of dressing.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's just kind of, like if say I would open up a store in Bakersfield, you know, maybe the I would have to study a little bit, you know, like, you know, what type of outfits they wear, or, you know, stuff like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's kind of, you kind of have to know like the regions and what's in the
like that area basically.
Yeah, because it does vary. Yeah.
How do you deal with like a product that flops? So has there ever been a time where it's like you thought something was gonna hit and it just bombed, like it didn't really sell?
My turnaround time for a product is maybe 2-3 weeks.
Damn, that's quick.
It's quick. So and they do sell like in that time. After that, if I see something's not moving, I drop it down. I want my customer every time they come to see something new. You know, I don't want to stay stale, and you know, I like switching up. And I think that's something that I have that other stores don't have, that kind of differentiates, you know, like I'm a little different than other stores, you know.
It's like you're more like in tune.
Yeah,
kind of with like the aspect of like fashion and everything and what's in.
Social media is a big part too, you know. You have to be on the
homework.
social media. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the day-to-day, bro. Like, from talking about it, like I know you said you like to have everything new. The turnaround time's super quick. So in my head, I imagine like it's a lot of work, bro, to keep up with the trends. You're keeping up with the shelf life. You're keeping up with your employees. So talk about your like typical day-to-day, bro. Working here at Blush.
I come and I pretty much look at, okay, what has been selling, what we need to drop in price, what needs to change, you know, move stuff around. It's always good to a lot of people that are successful, or some people, I'm not gonna say a lot of people, but some people, they just think like, okay, it's doing fine, you know, like I don't have to be there or whatever. But I'm one of those that needs to be here every single day, checking, like, hey, you know what? These have been here for 3 weeks, for a month. We need to drop them or put them on the front, or, you know, it's constantly always evolving. You know, your store needs to evolve every single time, you know, and it's kind of, since I'm here, the employees, they try a little bit more, like, oh, the boss is here, let's you know, because if you're not here, most of the time the employees are gonna do whatever the hell they want, you know. And it's kind of, you know, you kind of have to keep track of that. But not saying my employees do that, but
throwing shots right now.
They're probably gonna watch this. No,
like,
I don't mean
us.
If you're watching this right now, you work here. Yeah, he sees you took an extra long break. Alrighty, bro. So on the same topic of employees, I know a lot of business owners are going to be watching this podcast, or people may be looking to start a business later. So how do you spot and hire a good employee? And then on the same note, how do you spot a bad employee?
Okay, so pretty much like, I mean, this is a part-time job. It's not a big, you know, like I'm not paying them $100 an hour or whatever, but I mean, it's just kind of, since it's in the retail side of it, it's kind of, they have to be friendly, you know, they have to smile. You know, when I'm doing the interview, they have to, you know, they have to be kind of talkative. That way, like if they're talkative to me, then they might be talkative to the customer, help the customer out. Because sometimes in the fashion industry, especially like when a girl needs like opinions, that helps, you know, sales, you know, it helps sell. So I look at that.
Those are good qualities, bro. So they have customer service, friendly, on time.
Customer service. You know, if they show up to the interview late, I will not hire them. It's kind of, for me, it's more of I usually, most of the girls that I hire, they're college students. You know, it's kind of the part-time.
One of like your chess moves that I think like I really liked, just from the outside point of view, like business-wise, was you use like local influencers. So I think a lot of businesses don't use that. So how did you come up with the idea to use local influencers, and can you talk a little bit about that strategy?
Okay, so I mean, the fashion, it's not necessarily like what's the prettiest or what's the, like, you know.
Well, definitely not about looking the best, because
like
Balenciaga drops some
like the secret
things.
or like the most important part.
Yeah. So where trends come from is when and it can come to a very low level, like a high school. Like one high school might be like a certain trend where, like, you know, certain shoes are popular, and all it takes is one popular kid to wear it, and everybody's gonna wear it. You know, it's always the popular people that
set those trends.
That set the trends. You know, so going back to where I mentioned Kylie Jenner with her, you know, she's a big impact on this industry. Kim Kardashian and they're all these influencers, all these A-list celebrities. They make a huge impact on what we sell here and or all over the world actually.
So we're saying you're just constantly on Kylie's, just looking, huh? What we getting next?
Not necessarily, but you have to be if you're in the fashion industry, you have to be on top of the latest trends. Like this year a certain color might be trending, and then next year it's gonna it's faded off. It was so you kind of have to be on the influencer side of it.
Have you been to any fashion shows or anything like that since getting into this industry?
Okay, so I go to the clothing expos in Vegas. So it's pretty much anybody that has like a big store or like all the A brands, they go right there. You see Levi's, you see Calvin Klein, Tommy, everybody that's there, they go right there. I have not been to like an actual like fashion when they're walking, but I go to the clothing expos
that they go to. That makes sense.
So it's kind of it's the business side of it. The business side of the industry. The fashion side of it is more of the shows of the
runway shows.
The runway shows, yeah.
I went to one, and I feel like they just wear like the most unwearable things to see how you could wear it.
Yeah.
Like,
so
how are we gonna wear this water hose?
So
while
yeah.
balancing?
So I mean, a lot of designer stuff is kind of very very niche and very edgy, which like not a lot of people will wear it, and especially spend racks on it. They're not gonna ball out on something where like but I mean I feel they use those fashion shows not necessarily to sell those products, but to grow their brand. It's not necessarily like like this dress, like, oh, we need to sell 1,000 of them or 100,000 of them, whatever. It's more of like, okay, like Gucci, like it's just kind of building their brand, make it more, So
it's like almost like competing with other brands too, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have a really good show versus like, let's say Gucci does better and then like Tom Ford doesn't or whatever. Like
say like Louis Vuitton, so their main, like, I'm pretty sure like maybe 60% of their sales is from wallets, shoes. It's not from dresses. It's what. But in order for them to have those sales, they have to make and create a brand, and that's when it goes back to the crazy outfits and
And that's cool, dude. I like how you said, because that whole example too about like the popular kid wearing it in school, and that's all it takes. I feel like that's big, bro, because if you look at the bigger brands like you're talking about, what I've seen is like the Balenciaga before, like pre crazy stuff going on, right? The Louis Vuitton, all these big brands, bro, they usually have like a big influencer that they see wear things, and everyone wears it. You know what I mean? So that was the case with Fashion Nova, right? With Kylie Jenner, and she was one of the first ones to wear it. And I think after, it wasn't even that big of a brand, but after Kylie Jenner wore it, it was a big thing.
Yeah. So Fashion Nova only has, I think they have I think four retail spots, and then everything else is online.
That's crazy.
But they're doing $1 billion in sales
though.
a year. So.
Yeah, so smart.
So do you think it's more of like the clothing brand, or do you think it's more of the appearance on how it's perceived, like who's wearing the clothing brand, who's promoting it?
Yeah, most of it is like girls have this mindset where it's like, oh, like you shop there, like ew, or they'll be like, oh, I only get my stuff from this store, because it's nice. It's
like the name of it.
The name of it, yeah.
That's
what they usually, that's what they're usually like.
Because there's not a big difference in quality, right, from like Louis Vuitton, all this stuff compared to, I mean, other brands, right? There's not a big drop off.
There's not a big. It's just the name, yeah. It's just mostly the name. But I mean, they do use a little bit better quality, but I don't think it's a big change from decent brands. Yeah.
I heard you have influencers that you use to push your store, or I guess to market it. How did you like get into that, and how did you find like the people that you wanted to be that for you? I guess.
Okay, so I was kind of looking at who was a popular girls from around because I don't want to look for someone from LA or from here because I mean I'm a small store, whatever, but I kind of like looking at, okay, like who's the popular people, who's the one that's like people like always talking about, and then just reaching out and saying, hey, you want a model or you want a free clothes or and then just tag the business, and it's kind of, it builds like, okay,
the
this
organic following.
Yes, and it's not super expensive too, it's cheaper than putting an ad somewhere or
I feel like most people would want like free clothes and stuff, right? Too.
Yeah.
Like,
So my marketing is right now it's like 90% online social media, and I feel it's more useful. It's you get more results that way,
To reach a larger audience too.
Larger audience, yeah. And then I do have some influencers from other cities, LA, because I do sell on e-commerce, online, and we do try to reach certain like areas. And we send them free clothes, and they try it out, or and they just tag, and it just keeps getting followers, a couple followers here and there, it just keeps adding up,
compounds over time,
and you're getting sales from it too, which is the best part, So it's pretty much like, okay, yeah, I might be paying this girl $100, but I'm getting $200 in sales, and I'm getting more, a bigger audience,
yeah, you're driving the audience in.
Yeah, so it's
So I had a question too. So you were talking about the e-commerce thing. Do you like do it through Shopify, or do you have your own website, or how does that work for you?
So yeah, I do Shopify. Shopify is pretty easy to use. I've been using it for 5 years already. And I mean, it's been growing over time, and it's kind of, I've been kind of updating, and I'm not a very big tech guy, but I've learned how to do a little bit of new strategies, and stuff like that. But yeah, Shopify is the page I use. Yeah.
Are you getting more money in like through online sales or through like in person? Would you say like storefront?
So right now, I mean, we do very good in store. But my e-commerce is growing around 200-300% a year.
Oh wow!
So our online is growing, and that's my main thing. I just want to online. It's easier. You don't have to create all these stores from and it's kind of easier, and it's more the cash flow is better. It's just the margins might be slimmer, because it's very competitive, but it's the way to go.
Yeah, you can sell more quality over there too. Yeah, so I feel like it's really good.
So, dude, with that being said, because I was going to ask you that next. The overhead, obviously, that's a big thing whenever you have a brick and mortar. So, in the future, what are your plans for Blush for the future? Do you want to shift away from maybe have like a couple of like key like brick and mortar and then have more online, or what are your plans for Blush?
So my plans are to grow the website. So far I've shipped to maybe like 40 states. I kind of want to keep that growing, but at the same time kind of open up, kind of make the brand a little bit more solid. That way I can the online business can have more credit, because I mean there's thousands of clothing stores in online. So kind of have more credit, more of a base, like people are gonna look at my page and they're gonna be like, whoa, damn, they have like 3-4 stores in the valley, or maybe 6 of them, and it's kind of like I mean, it's just multiple sources of income that is very important to a business's life,
And it boosts that credibility too.
Yeah,
I feel.
yeah. There we
when
go,
they see you scale like that too throughout the valley, they're like, there has to be a reason. You
kind of have to. You kind of have to grow in all directions,
So, dude, I know you've had like a few like key lessons that you kind of share with the audience here. Kind of like that's one of them. You don't want to kind of like put all your eggs in one basket, especially if you're a business. You want to create revenue from multiple, parts of the business. When it comes to stuff like that, man, all the business knowledge you've had. I know you went to school and you went to business, but also you had a dad that's been in business, for probably longer than I've been alive, So when it comes to like the business game, the business knowledge, obviously right now you're seasoned, but when you were new, man, where did that knowledge come from? Did you go to your dad a lot? Did you go back to the stuff you learned in school? How was that process?
In the knowledge part, you kind of grow it over time. I was a manager at one of my dad's businesses, so I kind of knew what it was to manage employees, make orders, the profits. I already knew that. I did go to school, and I went to school thinking that I knew everything about business, but you do definitely learn stuff where if you wouldn't have gone, you would have, like, to this day I probably would have, not known, certain stuff. It did help a lot, and I did meet a lot of people.
Was going to school your choice, or was it like something your dad said you had to go to school?
No, my dad, nobody forced me to go. I actually went. I just went because I don't know. I just wanted to go. My dad actually got expelled when his highest level of education is 6th grade. He got expelled. He was a big, he's from Mexico. He came over here when he was 15, and I mean, he's a multimillionaire now.
Expelled 6th grade, multimillionaire.
For ditching, going Parental.
He knew where he wanted to be.
That's legit. That's interesting though, bro, because I feel like most of the time, especially when you had family in business, there's 2 different ways you can go, right? Like where I've seen people where if their family owns businesses, they go the complete opposite, where they run for business because that's kind of something they've heard of their entire life. And then other people like yourself, like it's a familiar thing that you grew up talking about at Thanksgiving, business. So
the thing that I have noticed too is that it kind of takes because I would get a good salary, I would be getting good money, but the thing is I wanted to do something on my own. I could have easily been working for him, but I didn't want nobody telling me what to do. I wanted my own money, like everything on me. So I jumped out of my way to I actually went, like, I didn't even tell him that I was gonna buy the store, and he actually didn't take it too well. He wanted to kick me out of the house. He didn't want to disown me, but something similar, because I was gonna leave the family business.
Do you think he wanted you to like take over his, and that's why he got so upset?
He wanted. I think he wanted me to be in charge of his his business, and I mean, I didn't mind that, but I kind of wanted to do something on my own, and
he was probably like, hey, I've been priming you for 22 years, 20 years, you know what I mean?
So it's kind of like it was a big choice, because not only was it the financial part of it, but it was my dad thinking, okay, he might kick me out of the house because I want to leave the family business, I want to do this, and I told him, I was like, you know what, like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna, and it was a big, I stopped talking to my dad for like maybe like a year. It was just
dang, a whole year straight.
Yeah,
no talking.
Yeah, because my he has his ways. You know how dads are. but it was kind of difficult, but I kind of bootstrapped everything and just try to stay positive.
What's some advice you would give someone on how to get over their parents' opinion?
Okay, the thing is, your parents, they're gonna tell you stuff that they kind of they want you to do, but I mean, do you want to live their life, or you want to make your own path? And I understand it's kind of difficult sometimes, maybe the financial part of it too, but I say just do what's gonna make you happy at the end of the day, and if you have an opportunity, and just take it. What's the worst that can happen? Is like, your parents are not gonna disown you. You're not gonna, they might get mad, or they might, tell you otherwise. But I mean, I say you just go for it and try new things, man. That's it.
Were you living at that time where you weren't talking to him? Like, were you living with him?
Yeah. So I've paid rent since I could remember, probably like freshman in high school. Like I would have to work in the after school to pay rent, and when he found out that I was gonna open up this business, where I bought it, he actually wanted to charge me like double than, and I actually did pay him. I was paying $700 a month of rent.
For your room?
For my one room.
That's like your childhood room, too. Like your childhood room.
Your punishment, you're going to pay me more.
And I couldn't, like, bring people over. I couldn't, like, it was just, like, it was
He
very
like put the
strict.
restraints on you.
Yeah, like, it's kind of like he kind of, like, he kind of wanted to kick me out, but, like, I don't know.
You want to, do you feel like you benefited from being tested like that, though? Because you had to stick by your gut.
That's a good question, because you know what, as a you do benefit extremely, because you learn, okay, like, life's a bitch, and you have to kind of adapt, to situations like that. You know, like I was 17 and he was charging me rent, so I had to figure out. You know, I have to pay rent. You know,
you said you were doing that since freshman.
Yeah,
though.
freshman.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well,
That's crazy.
For me,
I'm charging my kid tomorrow. She's 3.
yeah. So for me, it wasn't a big thing because I always had a job. You know, because of his, I would work with them, but I still had to pay. You know, so I'm pretty working for free. You know, but all this responsibility of paying rent at a young age, it like when you actually have to pay it, it's a piece of cake. You know, because you've been doing that for
so long.
For so long, it's like okay, like
he like trained you to be
like,
ready for.
That's nothing, you know. Like you know, so it kind of teaches you the responsibility of being an adult, being a man. You know, taking care of your shit. You know, so it's kind of I do appreciate that fact, and it kind of made me who I am. And I'm not, you know. Stuff where like I'm not scared to lose my money on a business, or it comes from him, you know. It comes from that.
How he was with you and how he raised you.
I was raised,
dude. I think that's really big because I've seen like a lot of business owners or different people where if their kids, like people I went to high school with, right? For example, they grew up with like a super big silver spoon where their parents did well. They owned a business. They had a car. They paid for their house for them. They paid for everything for them. And I feel like eventually it kind of crippled them a little bit where now in the real life, once you get socked in the mouth, you know, like life comes and throws some stuff your way.
Once you get hit, you don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah, they have no idea what to do. So I feel like that probably helped you out a lot, bro.
Yeah, it did. And then my dad would always like. I remember he got us this piggy bank when we were small, and it was like a little bowl. You know how we're Mexican, so we have this animal for piggy banks, el toro. And I probably had that for maybe 15 years, and it was all savings. So like any money that he would give us, like for food or whatever, like he would just tell us whatever you can save it. And I bought my first car off that, you know, pretty much my life savings from when I was little. You know, I used to purchase my first car. It was like probably like 6,000, 7,000, you know, but I was 17. So I mean, you know, that was still I was fresh out of high school, you know, so that kind of jumped my knowledge a little bit, you know, and it kind of boosted me for success, you know, because I don't have to be struggling. I have to look for a job to find a car, you know, asking for rides. It's kind of something where you kind of learn when you're small, and it kind of guides you of the, you know, of the financial side of life. Yeah,
that's big. So he like taught you like literally the value of a dollar.
Yeah,
and how to like appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like you said, with the other people that get like the silver spoon, they don't really appreciate the money. They didn't have to work for it. You know what I mean?
It's hard, bro. When you don't know that, like you said, you don't know the value of the dollar, and you don't know what it buys. You don't know when rent comes for the first. You know, you don't know like, oh, should I may have $1,000 in my bank account, but like, your rent's $1,000 on the first, so
so you really don't have.
Yeah, because if you're used to spending that, like, oh, I got $1,000, I can go out to eat, I can go out with my friends, right? But like, you have no bills at all. That's an entirely different mentality, entirely different way you look at your bank account from like when you have rents coming on the first. Like, that's huge.
I feel that a lot of people that start businesses, they don't have that quality, and they just think it's like, oh, it's easy. We'll open up a clothing store. You know,
looks good on paper.
It looks good on paper.
Sounds good. Good
you know,
plan.
He's making a lot of money, and then they don't really know the business side of it and the little details when it comes.
Ups and the downs.
The risk, right?
And the risk, and they fell, you know, because they thought it was a piece of cake. And there's a lot of little details you need to know, and a lot of different stuff, you know, where it's very important.
I'm a firm believer, bro, in that, especially for any business, like especially for this one, that it's always super fun the first month, right? Like the first month, you have the grand opening, you maybe have a ribbon cutting or something like that. But once month 2 comes and month 3 comes and you're like 6 months in, and maybe you don't have the sales you expected to have, right? That's when I feel like a real business owner, a real entrepreneur gets tested, where they're like, oh, fuck, like it's not as good as I thought it was going to be at the beginning. But eventually, right, like the more you stick it out, the more reputable brand you build, the better success is going to come. But that first couple months is not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy, and that's where preparation comes. You know, you have to be prepared when you get sucked in the face. You know, it's kind of it actually happened to me. 2019, I opened up a separate a business, and 4 months later, COVID hit. So I was shut down for, you know, I spent roughly around maybe $80,000 on building a new store, and COVID hit, and I was barely, you know, starting to, you know, see good numbers. and then I was shut down for 4 months. The government made us shut down, and it just like sales just went, downhill for a whole year. I had to pay a lot of rent, and they didn't and it's tough. And unfortunately, I had to close that down. So I took a big loss. But I mean, the thing is, it's stuff that you learn. You learn from. So next business that I make, okay, like I did this wrong, and you have to kind of adapt to certain situations, and that's part of the business. Yeah.
Did you ever have that feeling, bro, growing up, where it was like you felt like you were in your father's shadow and you wanted to break out a little bit, or how did that work?
So I mean, I feel like people do become shadows of the parents. My dad has been very successful, and it's gonna be a tough to overcome his success. I feel like I can make it.
Was there pressure there, you think, to live up to it?
Maybe not pressure, because I'm pretty good under pressure, and I feel like it's more of not a competition, but it's kind of like in business, it's always about the winner, and it's kind of like who's gonna, but at the end of the day, I just since I separated from him, he does his own thing, I do my thing, and it's kind of our relationship did get better. And he does look up to me. He's tells me he's proud of me, stuff like that. So it's kind of, yeah.
That's big, bro. So people at home, if you're not getting along with your parents right now, or you're not getting along with your children, and they did something maybe you don't like, there's hope, right?
Yeah. So the relationships over time with your parents, it only gets better, especially when you don't depend on them, they don't depend on you. It's always gonna get. I feel in my situation, it's gonna get better. You mature a little bit more. You start your own family, and it does get the relationships with your parents do. I feel as time gets,
Yeah, that's
does,
money.
It does, yeah.
Do you feel like there's more pressure on someone to do well in life if their parents were successful already, or if they're no success at all?
So there is more pressure, because people look at our family okay, it's all about business and this and that. And I mean, it sucks when one of my brothers or sister, whatever, is not as successful, or and it does build that little bit of it kind of puts you on
you have to live up to the family tree.
Yeah. So it's kind of it's for me, it's pretty good, because it's kind of keeping you I have to be at a certain level, and I have to try more to to be up
motivation
there.
for you.
It's
basically.
motivation. Yeah,
It's I can't mess up.
Yeah.
Make my dad look bad.
Yeah, there we go.
Dishonored.
I think at the end of the day, bro, it goes back to kind of what you said earlier, right? In the sense where whatever you're doing, living up to something or not, as long as you're happy, as long as you really like what you're doing, that's what matters, because if you're living up to the success but you're miserable, chances are you're not going to sustain that success for a long time.
The whole point is happiness. There's business is not for everybody. You can go other routes. It's not it's not business. It's not the fun, it's not the easiest thing to do either.
Yeah.
But I mean, just do what's gonna make you happy, and it's just go from there.
Next, we have a segment, bro, in the All Aces podcast. It's our signature that we have, where there's a new thing going on right now. I'm not sure if you heard about it. It's called Chat GPT. And Chat GPT, I'm going to let Dan tell us a little bit about it, but it's our signature segment, and we're going to cut to it right now. So tell us about the Chat GPT All Aces segment, Dan.
All right, so Chat GPT, if you don't know, it's basically a bot. It's an AI bot, and you can ask it whatever you want, and it's going to give you an answer. So we're going to do it right now. We're going to ask you to give us 3 questions for somebody that's in the fashion industry and owns a retail store. And we're going to tell that we're in a podcast, and we want to come up with 3 questions. So we're going to see what it gives us. So let me type it.
It's the end of the world is what it is. Once these things start thinking for themselves, it's a wrap for us.
All right, so we gave ChatGPT the prompt, can you give me 3 questions for a podcast in which the guest is an owner of a fashion boutique? Number one question is, what's the biggest challenge in the fashion industry?
So the biggest challenge would be the trends. What's in, what's not in. I think that'll cover that question. But there's other challenges besides. Sometimes a product may sell extremely well, and then you only order a certain product, so you lose out on those sales. And
question number 2 from our homie ChatGPT: what's the thing you enjoy the most about being in the fashion industry?
So the To be completely honest, it's the money is very good.
That's like so to the point.
They're being honest.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
Like you said earlier, the reason why you go in business is to make profit.
Yeah, I mean the whole goal of any business should be the profit. You know, you have to make profit. If not, it's just a hobby and or losing money and losing time. But I mean, I do enjoy seeing the new styles, the trends. It's kind of like a kid that you have, like owning a business. You have to take care of it. You have to feed it. You have to, and that's the whole. It's kind of a lifestyle that you live. It's nobody's telling you what to do. You kind of, it's a good lifestyle to have.
Dude, I'm glad you're not afraid to say, because I feel like some people, they'll just kind of beat around the bush.
Yeah.
When everybody knows.
You're in business for money, bro. That's it.
Like, I just love fashion so much because it just speaks to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's good money. Girls love shopping. Like, girls.
They're like addicted to that.
I literally have customers that they'll be here out of 7 days. They'll probably be here 5 days. So it's insane. Like when I first bought this business, I thought that okay, like a girl's, us guys, we might shop maybe like once a month or once every 2 months or 3, whatever. Girls shop once a week.
Bro, that's crazy.
It's insane. Like once I started finding out that these girls are like obsessed with shopping and they need new outfits every single time they go out.
When they're at home on their phones, bro, half the time they're like shopping.
Yeah,
like it's kind of crazy how much women shop. Like,
yeah, so insane. it's it's a win-win for both of us. I supply the
that itch.
You're like a drug dealer.
He's all, look, they come in every
I'm a day trader and a drug dealer at the same time. It's a fashion industry.
There you go.
That's good. Okay. And last question from ChatGPT. Can you share any insights or tips for individuals looking to start their own fashion boutique?
So one good advice is start off small. What's trending? It's been trending for a couple of years now. These pop-up events. You see a lot of these boutiques. They have a couple products, and then they start doing more. And I feel that's a great way to start a boutique, and the opportunity is there. And it's just kind of you can apply the online stuff to it. And it goes hand in hand, and just kind of grow it like that, and the opportunities will come, and soon you'll have enough money to maybe lease out a building, and then if it's too small, then it just keeps growing. It's all starts from the bottom. You can't start off really big and try to I'm open up a store at the mall, because it's really hard, But I say you start off small. These pop-up events are really good. Instagram is super easy. It's super helpful. You can sell a lot of things online, and it's just the whole point is to start. That's the main goal too. That I'll tell the people. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Shout out ChatGPT, OpenAI. I'm still waiting for my sponsorship check.
Came clutch again.
It came clutch again, man. It's a vital.
It scares us every time, bro. Like how good and how on point these questions are. Like it's a little frightening, ChatGPT.
Bro, wait till that stuff becomes self-aware.
Well, I think for us, bro, since you're one of our boys, we've known you for a while already. Like, I'm sure we could talk all night, bro. And we really appreciate you coming on the podcast. And, I know that everyone at home listening to the story today probably could benefit from everything you spoke about today. There's so many good stuff that you mentioned about your story, about not giving up, about business and life lessons, right? But I want to wrap it up with one final signature question that we always ask here at the All Aces podcast. And it's more of like a situational base. So, the last question we ask is picture like young Taps, right? Like young Taps, maybe 5 or 6 years old, or maybe a little like maybe 10 or 13, right? Where before business, like pre-business, pre-success Taps. And I want you to picture yourself there. And what's something you would tell young Taps now, a couple years later, right? Like now everyone sees the success now that you've made it, and you're on the road to making it. What's something you would tell young Taps on how to get them through those tough times, like when you're growing up?
I think it's just like my main focus is happiness, and because I mean at the end of the day, if you have this this businesses and this and that, the cars, it's nothing without happiness. So it's kind of I feel I would tell myself just do what's gonna make you healthy and make you feel happy. Like if I actually had a bar and I was making good money. It's fun and everything, but it just wasn't making me, you know, happy. And I had, you know, I sold it, and it's just, you know, but that's a good question.
No, you answered it perfect, bro. I think that's probably one of the most important things of life, right? And I feel like maybe someone can take for granted, right? Especially once you're getting a lot of money, and it's fun when you make money, right? But at the end of the day, for how long, right? Like, how long is it really going to be fun? How long is the brand new car really going to stay like brand new in your head, right?
Yeah, a lot of people think like, oh, once I get that Corvette, once I get that nice car, the truck, whatever, that's the happiness. And I've been through that, you know, like my dream car was a Corvette. I've had 2 now, and I feel like that's like, okay, like, so what? Like, you got a car, you got a nice car, the dream car you've always dreamed of, and you have it, and like, what's next? Like, this is it? Like, you know, it's kind of like, it feels like it doesn't fulfill you as a person, you know. It's just kind of like, you just kind of have to wake up and be happy, and, you know, be happy with what you do, you know, and that's what I would tell everybody else, you know.
Yeah, that's important, bro. I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm sure a lot of people at home can benefit from the same thing, and maybe they're going through a lot of the same similar struggles we talked about today, man. So we appreciate you having on. And any last things you guys think we should mention?
I'll say I thought it was cool, man, because we've known you, but it was really cool to hear your backstory. You know,
there we go. Yeah,
it was cool to hear your backstory. Dude.
It was cool being here at the podcast. It's
awesome, man. Well, you heard it here first. Appreciate you guys at home, always showing us so much love, tuning into another episode of the All Aces podcast. We appreciate you, and we'll see you at the next one. Peace.